Greetings. I'm going to explain things as simply as I possibly can. Now, first off, and this will make sense, so bear with me, that saying about if nobody hears it or sees it, does a tree make a sound when it falls? Okay. Now, possibly, as I've said that, you might actually visualize that. You might actually create that image in your mind. So now what I would like you to do is visualize picking that seed back up and taking it out. It would be far better to say, if no one is there to see it or hear it, does the tree sway with the wind? You see, if you're thinking in the terms of the familiar saying that is given to us, and think about why that saying has been promoted generation to generation, you're visualizing something being destroyed. And I think a tree is very important in the physical sense from the fact it gives us oxygen, and in the spiritual sense, the metaphorical sense of the tree of life, the tree of knowledge, regardless of what tree it is. And that there's a very important reason that I've mentioned that story and that analogy. It really does come down to imagination creates reality. When you consider, and we have to go back to looking at the atom, the cells within the atom, you've got a thing called a photon in there. This has been shown in the double slit experiment. The behaviour of the photon will depend on the observer, whether it is being observed or not. And think about it when you're driving. Anything that you're seeing in that moment, once you've driven and left it behind, is it still there or is it not? It's Schrodinger's cat as well, if you think about it, as a thought exercise. But again, that's not a particularly pleasant one, is it? It's certainly not a thought that's founded on love to think like that. But the purpose, and I can't emphasize this enough, is it is all down to whatever you think you're creating. It's not about that 0.0001%. Focusing on that solid material, because you're paying no attention whatsoever to the 99.999%. And look what you've got there. 5 nines are 54, which is the sum of 9. The 9 is the opposite of the 6. We're in the 66. I mean, all that thing with the numbers. I don't want to digress too much into that, because it is all external. It is really, and this is the duality of it. I'm advocating here that you switch off from this channel. I'm advocating you switch off from all channels. I'm advocating you switch off from the external, because it is all within. Just trust in your gut feeling. Let me give you another analogy to this. I'm sure you've all seen those in the UK. They're green, they're metal, those telephone exchange boxes. Now you're pulling out all the wires. This is basically what we're doing with this, and with this, more so with this. Ask yourself this question. Cast your mind back to when you were at school. Did you learn the 12 times table in 5 minutes flat, or was it done through repetition? I think same with if you're learning the national anthem or the Lord's Prayer or whatever else that you would have been given to you at school, it's all about repetition, because you are implanting, you are engraving, you are impressing upon yourself an idea, regardless of whether it's true or not. See, I do remember at the time thinking, why is it not stop at 10? I'll get the picture with 11, that it repeats those 0 to 9, and it just repeats over and over. So why have we got 11 and 12? And if we've got 12, why didn't we go one further and go to 13? That's what I thought at the time. I didn't voice it, but I just thought, very strange. It didn't sort of become apparent for many years later. It's one of those things. It's right there in front of us. And it's, how are we looking at it? But remember, it is all external. It's what's going on in here. So let's talk about meditation. Let's talk about finding oneself. Let's talking about going within. Let's be specific about what exactly this is. Let's talk about in the sense of meditation. So meditation is denying the external. There's no hard and fast rules as to whether you should be sitting down, laying down. If you're laying down, there's a chance you could go to sleep. There is another element that comes into this, and that is time in this reality. You have to find the time of day that suits you best. Some of you might prefer to do it in the evening, some of you do in the middle of the day, whenever you've got the opportunity, or make that time available to yourself. Get yourself in a position that is comfortable, but not to the point where you'll just fall asleep. Because the last thing you want with this is the body sending up signals saying, I've got a pain here because I'm not comfortable. It's going to take you off going within, because what you're trying to do is open up that communication between the divine masculine, the conscious, and the divine feminine. The unconscious, the 90% that we're not using, because we're only operating on 10%. It's where you get the 10% tithing in religions coming from. But it is all about going within. It is all about denying that outside world. I'll come back to that in a minute. I'll give you some more practical demonstrations. So, what do you want to do to start with to get yourself in practice of doing this? So it becomes second nature, because you are reminding yourself, you are remembering yourself, you are reorganizing yourself, you're reorganizing your organism, your organic vessel, your soul carrier. You are a spirit inside of this. We're in duality. We're 0 and we're 1. These physical vessels, which are down on 2 souls, although you are one soul, you are a soul carrier. Like in business, you can be a soul trader when you're on your own. But in this lies the duality, because we are the bride of the Creator, because these vessels allow for the Son, the power, the Christ consciousness, your gut feeling, the thing that tells you deep down when something isn't quite right. Even at school, although I've been taught the 12 times table, something doesn't feel quite right with all of this. I don't have any knowledge or experience to know, but I know there's something with everything I'm being told at school, something isn't quite right. There's the wisdom, the bit that we need to raise from here to here. So as a first practice at meditating, what I'm going to suggest is you sit there and you just count down from 100 to 1 and see how far you get. You've eliminated all the chance of the body saying, I'm not comfortable, this aches, that aches. You've got yourself in a nice relaxed state. The first time I did it, I think I got to about 84, and then my mind started wandering off onto cooking dinner or something, and it's, oh, bring the thoughts back. Now we go back and we start at 100 again, 99, 98, and we'll see how far we get this time. And I think I got to 64, and it's like, no, start again. This is the falling off. Don't give up. See how simple that is. Counting down from 100 down to 1 in your mind, not thinking about anything else. That on its own is very simple. But now put it into practice, and I think you'll get the idea. But from that, it's now going in to within oneself. Any electricians out here? You're basically rewiring yourself. You're going down to all the system programming when you're doing something at a particular time. Why you feel anxious because you're not there on time. I can't do it now because I've got to go and feed whoever, or I've got to go and walk the dog, and have I paid that bill? You've got to push all that out, because it is all external. I'm not saying just totally deny it, because Christ says you have to walk in two worlds. You're still existing in this physical experience, but it is all within. Actions speak louder than words. So if I talk about Flat Earth Tataria or anything else on this channel, then I'm not going to be matching that. What I'm now saying, part of me will still do that, only in the context of if I think it will show something. So 0, 1, 2, there's your 3. Let's show you what this is showing. There's the O, the whole, the organic. There's the 1. We're in a binary system. It's also the egg and the sperm. To give you another example of this, and it's with the 1, but it's shown with the 3 crosses on the Vet's channel, the symbol. It's only on one side, but it's your brain and your spine. So it resembles a sperm. From the 0 and the 1 in the physical sense, and like the sperm and the egg come together, create something new, which is the 2. And this again, look at the shape of it. It's because you've got to be wise as serpents, because the tricks that will come up, especially like with that counting down. But look, we're also solid. We're on a base. So that's what the 2 is. But they also show you as well, the 2 is also like the S, wise as serpents, the spirit. The organic operating system. The ideas, there's the seeds, there's the 1, or the L when you see it at a right angle. There's your SOL, there is your soul. The light inside you, oh black hole sun, won't you come? Well, it's inside you. Everything in this reality is a tomb. It is an atom. It is the difference between the 99.999%, I think that's one too many nines, but regardless. The 99% and the 1%, well, let's just keep this simple. We'll round the figures up for argument's sake, because it's a mouthful to say. It's just getting the idea. Now think about when you're putting food in your mouth. Compare the size of you to what you put on your fork. That's pretty much the same ratio of 99 to 1. I don't know how many times, or how many, well, basically this is all I'm going to be doing on this channel. I'm going to be telling you the same message over and over again. I will dress it up in as many different ways as I can, with the intent that it might make sense to you one way, or it might make sense another way. Now, I'll end this with another example. I'll give you 2 opposite perspectives of something that doesn't matter. It still comes back to the same source. If I have a picture and I've got the sunlight glowing like that around my head, did I stage that picture or was it purely by accident? The argument matters not. Because if I had deliberately done it, there must have been a thought or an idea of I wish to display something, I wish to shine a light out and project a message out by doing it that way. Or it could be by chance, something I hadn't spotted, something that's coming unconsciously. It's all about the dialogue that's going on. It's all about opening up that channel. So meditation is reinventing yourself, because when you get a particular feeling, it creates chemical changes to the physical body. You've got to move to a place that is not comfortable. Now, a perfect example of this is the film Titanic. Well, what lengths, what depths do things need to go to? Because you are going to feel like you're put in the icy cold Atlantic in the middle of nowhere in complete darkness. So, back to the meditation. You're now isolating the exterior, the external. It's not just the television screen, it's everything that is external to you is a screen. There's a lot more going on in the unseen. But think about, what do you take in with the two eyes of the deceiver is all recorded by the unconscious. It's all in there. It's all stored. It's all stories. It's all store eyes. So what are you filling your attic with? Is it organised? Is it tidy? Do you know where everything is, for example? Can you get to it when you need it? Have you forgotten it? But you also want to communicate with that across from the conscious to the unconscious. So that is only going to come with practice, repeated over and over again. You're rewiring, you're reinventing yourself. You want to be the best and be whatever you want to be, whatever your heart's desire. You've got to project that out, and to project that out, you've got to be that inside. So it's all about doing the inner work. It is all about being self-disciplined. Let me give you another analogy for the outside, the external world. Imagine yourself in the middle of a store. Nothing is said. You've got 99 people all around you. They could just be staring, or they could all be pointing at you. How are you going to feel? Are you going to feel intimidated by that? Are you going to give in to that fear? Because the 99 are doing something and you feel from your gut feeling something is different, what are you going to listen to? You have to be greater than yourself. No matter what is shown at you and thrown at you, whatever is presented on the screen right in front of your face often. Like when someone shouts at you and they get right in your face. You got to stand your ground. It doesn't mean attack back. The first act of war is defence. You just stand there calmly and say, no, I'm not playing this game. Because if I'm focusing on that material 1%, what am I missing out on the potential of the 99%? If I tune into a radio station, does that mean the other radio stations are no longer there any more than if I'm in a particular city? And then I drive out to that city. Has that city gone? Or is it still there? Is it still in my world? Does it exist or does it not exist? Only you know the answer to that one. It depends how you see it. This is all about perspective, about seeing things, how we see things, how does it make us feel, Are we allowing something to give us a feeling, or are we in control of our body? Again, the dollar bill, the eye on the top. If you're mastering your thoughts and feelings, and it's going to come to the stage that I will probably stop making videos because I will be lost for words, because I won't be able to explain it. If I can really connect across and go beyond the delta state into the gamma state, then it's going to open up to something far more. I'll leave you with one more thing with this, because there is something. There's the 1%. Or there's no thing, which is 99%. So let's give you a worst case scenario. You're being held down against your will by military personnel and you're being injected. Do you really think the spirit is going to stay in the body? Or do you think it's going to leap out? Because if you think and feel that this is all by design and all a creation, and I would suggest you've only got to look at the word firmament. Ment is mind. If something is firm, it is described as being sound. Is that not of being a sound mind? And if we are in the mind of a greater creator, wouldn't it be good to be that spark of inspiration, that comet, that asteroid that wakes the creator up? Because it is said in the Gnostics, Sophia fell asleep into the dream. It is described as the Father fell asleep into the dream. Doesn't matter which way you look at it, the O or the I. We're looking for the spirit of this, are we not? Which exists in everything and everyone, every grain of sand, every atom, every photon. Just depends how you look at it as to how that photon is going to behave and what intent you're putting behind it. Now, keep that in mind between your two temples. It could be a very scary thought because it comes with a huge responsibility. Because when you realize the I am is you, and you are the creator, and what you can create, you've got to really think about what you're creating. Are your actions creating something from your words? Am I coming across where I sound like I'm being patronizing, for example? Am I talking down to you? That's not intended. I really hope that this comes across as more a dialogue. I don't know anything more than you. It's all within, but it's all within each and every one of us. The trick is to be able to access it. We've got to unlock the keys to find it. I'm still going in a long, long way to go. It's going out into the wilderness. It's probably going to feel like 40 years. But remember, all those stories are just showing you the same story. It just depends how you read them. But it is all about mastering oneself. The only way you're going to do that is not being distracted by anything outside of you. So do please take that time to set aside that time so you can have that all one alone time and start really going in and exploring yourself. I mean, there's so much emphasis on outer space. Well, what about inner space? Let's go looking for the 99%. Stop focusing on the